Welcome to your daily dose of astrological insight and inspiration for Wednesday, the 2nd of October 2024. I'm intuitive evolutionary astrologer and psychic tarot reader, Crystal, the crystalline priestess, and without further ado, let's get into the energy of the day. Okay, my love, so we are one day away from that new moon eclipse tomorrow in Libra. I'm sure that you guys are starting to feel it. We have the moon today who does leave Virgo and does enter Libra. So it's happening pretty much literally right on 10 a.m. So when I've got this chart out. So we do have the moon at 0 degrees of Libra to start off the day at about 10 a.m. So we are going to feel that moon getting closer and closer to the sun, and it's going to conjunct with that south node by the end of the day towards our nighttime. So by the morning, I think the eclipse is actually going to be happening at about 4:45 in the morning, around then. So for us Aussies, we are going to most likely be asleep, but we're going to be feeling it Wednesday night, and we're going to be feeling it when we wake up on Thursday morning. So I feel like this is really a day of preparing for the let go. I feel like we have a lot of strength that is actually coming through at the moment. I love the fact that we have that Mars trine over with Saturn, because I've been talking about this for days. It feels like finally us getting a grip on what has been a really quite difficult week, very foggy, ugly, yucky sort of start to the week, and by the end of the week we're feeling a bit stronger. That's because we've been in that eclipse portal, we've been in this in-between moment. We also felt Venus move out of her home sign and have a square as well with Capricorn this week. And now we have Venus at 10 degrees of Scorpio by Wednesday. So it's really, I should say she moved out of Libra last week. And starting off this week, we began with a Venus who is freshly in Scorpio. So we are dealing with, a dispositor of the sun, a dispositor of this new moon, who is not in her happiest sign, but at the same time, she's making a really beautiful grand trine with that Mars and with that Saturn, who are at 15 degrees of Cancer and 14 degrees of Pisces. So we've got this beautiful grand water trine that we do have in the background of this moon, and I feel as though that is really a nice opportunity for us to get flowy and to get creative and to get connected with the voice of spirit that is really going to be making itself very, very loud and clear over this moon. Now, at the same time today, we also do have a really powerful grand trine that is between Uranus at 26 degrees of Taurus, Capricorn, Pluto, 29 degrees, and the moon when it reaches its 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees of Virgo. So once again, for us Aussies, it's going to be quite early in our morning that we're going to be experiencing that grand trine with the moon. It's only temporary. So for my, Northern Hemisphere friends, you guys are probably going to dance with that a little bit more. But for us, we're still probably going to wake up with a little bit of this interesting sort of feeling. It feels positive, but it also feels like it doesn't come without its facing of the truth and its facing of reality, because we're dealing with the moon making these lovely connections to two outer planets, Pluto being one of them and Uranus being the other, who's on top of the demon star Algol at the moment. So we are facing some of our demons, and that's the thing. The Pluto and the Uranus on Algol both want us to face our demons. And so this eclipse that we have on building tomorrow is this eclipse of really finally cleansing out those closets, making sure everything's nice and cleared up and pretty and put together. It feels as though we're looking for a healthier balance at this point in time, and that healthier balance is coming through introspection with that square between Mars and the sun and all these things building, because we're needing to go within in order to understand. I'm hearing one of my favorite quotes from that book, Conversations with God, that I love, and it's if I don't go within, I go without. So if you don't go within at the moment, you are going without at the moment. So going within is crucial, and these two beautiful grand trines, we have a grand earth trine and a grand water trine, and so that's fucking lovely. I think building into this eclipse, I think that we're actually in a really nice astrological energy, if I'm honest. Even though things, you know, the sun's at fall, Venus is at fall, Mars is at fall, Jupiter's at fall. You know, we have a lot of planets who are not really necessarily happy and in their home, but I think that in a way that's actually helping us to deal with some of the problems that we've been having in our lives. It's dealing with some of the harsher energies that we've put off. The planets being in these signs that they don't like being in means that they have to face parts of themselves that they don't often like to face. With the Eight of Cups coming out, and that was a significant card that we had coming out for the entire new moon in Libra eclipse reading. So this is already the walking away moments are starting to land. They're starting to be here, especially because we have this lovely trine between the moon and Uranus and Pluto. This is spontaneous shifts happening as we build into this new moon eclipse, because we are ready to plant these new seeds. And I think I didn't mention it heaps throughout that reading, the full moon or the new moon actual eclipse, but relationships are definitely going to be, you know, on the radar. We have Temperance coming out. We have a lot of healing energy that's coming in, a lot of opportunity. These two grand trines are a really powerful, beautiful opportunity to find harmony in many different areas of our lives. It feels as though we're finding harmony and peace with our value. And when we find harmony and peace with our value, we understand that we actually do have the capacity and the ability to juggle more things than what we're already juggling. You know, I feel like we're starting to see that we have the potential and the capacity to hold more than we've allowed ourselves to believe that we could hold in the past. I feel as though we're not shying away from hard work at this point. We have the Rabbit coming out, which says approval and sensitivity. And so this is very much a sensitive time with us being in a beautiful grand water trine that's building. And this is stronger than the grand earth trine because the moon is only going to be in that trine space for a few hours. So the fact that we have Mars, Saturn and Venus all here together, that makes it feel a little bit stronger. So we do have this really watery energy. And the fact that the rabbit here is too, what is a rabbit? But it's an earth animal. It's running around. It's burrowing underground. So we have to understand that going deep within ourselves and burrowing into our emotions and burrowing into the parts of ourselves that we've denied are what is going to help us to actually find approval for ourselves, because this is about self-approval. And all this stuff in Libra is about understanding how powerful we actually are if we actually allow ourselves to approve of ourselves. I feel like instinct and loyalty coming out with the wolf. Sometimes we have to be a lone wolf. Sometimes we have to be loyal to our own selves and we have to trust our instincts. We have to follow in the footsteps that feel like they're the healthiest way forward for us. And that comes through instinct. A lot of the time, we're not going to have all the answers, you know, splayed out in front of us. We're not going to have something that just says, this is the way to do it. This is what it is. This is the direction to go to. A wolf has to use his instincts. He has to use his intelligence. And that's what this connection with the sun and Mercury is. You know, we've just had that Kazemi yesterday, so we are still digesting our healing energy in the sense that we had a moment yesterday that allowed us to finally see where we're really willing to let the past go, where we're willing to let part of ourselves go. This Two of Pentacles is about understanding that we're willing to juggle two different parts of ourselves. I see this card as the spiritual and the physical. This is understanding that the metaphysical and the physical are completely symbiotic and in a dance. And this is us understanding that we dance this dance together. You know, I feel like this is really a power. Both of these cards, Temperance and the Two of Pentacles, is about juggling an energy and essentially Libra, bringing balance to that. Like I keep saying, all of these energies have got us in a dichotomy. It's balancing between the light and the dark, and having to understand that we cannot have one without the other, and that in order to have beauty and happiness and growth and a beautiful life, you have to look at the darkness and you have to look at the wounds. You know, in order to heal the wounds, you have to face the wounds. The light attributes of the wounded child is awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, inspires the learning path of forgiveness. The shadow attributes of the wounded child is blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds and resists moving on through forgiveness. Now we also have the Engineer out here, who says ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. The shadow attribute is a reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So we are looking for solutions through this wounding. We are being offered at the moment opportunities to finally move past a version of ourselves that could not grow up because it was stuck in a trauma bond with itself. You know, it was struck in a traumatic response, you know, sort of response. You know, it was this version of ourselves that was continuously valuing the wrong things. The wounded child blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds and resists moving on through forgiveness. This is understanding that we have to forgive in order to move on. Mercury and Lilith conjunction today is about realizing that in order to have a healthy soul, you know, with the sun being there, you have to learn to forgive, and you have to learn to communicate that forgiveness. Maybe you don't have to communicate it to the people you're forgiving, but maybe you have to really communicate it deeply to yourself. Write it down, write it out, let yourself stand in the mirror and speak it to yourself. You know, this is about understanding how important it is, the words that you're speaking. You know, we've got a lot of air energy that we're in at the moment, and we also have Jupiter who's in that connection with Chiron. So we have to understand where our words are our weapons, and we're either deliberately hurting ourselves or we're deliberately building ourselves up. You make the decision. So my loves, I'm going to leave this reading there. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do let me know in the comments if you feel like sharing what is going on with you. How are you feeling during this eclipse season and in the building of this eclipse? What are you feeling is coming up for you over this eclipse? What do you feel like you're letting go of? What do you feel like you're releasing? And what are the seeds that you are now planting as we step into this next 6-month chapter as we build into from now until March? So my loves, I really, 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 really do appreciate you guys being here. If you are still with me, I've just finished filming my eclipse reading, so make sure you do check out that if you haven't already. The Libra new moon eclipse, as well as check out the Pisces full moon eclipse if you haven't checked that out already. Make sure you check out your channeled songs. If you would like to book a private tarot or astrology reading with me, you can do that down below through my link tree. I would like to thank your angels, your ancestors, your higher self, your spirit guides, all the beautiful benevolent beings that are surrounding you and I in all moments, for allowing me to receive and to deliver this message for you guys. I really, really appreciate you for being here. I love you, and I will see you in tomorrow's eclipse reading. Peace out. Have a good one.